Hello ghouls! Welcome back to Somber Studios. With Halloween around the corner, let's get festive by watching what Halloween looked like for the past 100 years. Here at Somber Studios, we went digging and managed to find some awesome festive home videos taken on Halloween night through the decades.
This is the demon under your bed to remind you to like and subscribe because it's Halloween here every day. Good. Now let's do the time warp. We have entered the 1920s, the beginning of Halloween's rising popularity in America. People did wear costumes, but they were homemade and simpler. Trick-or-treating started being commercialized, and movies like Nosferatu and The Phantom of the Opera gained popularity. Welcome to the 1930s. Halloween in the 1930s continued to evolve, building on the traditions of the previous decade. Store-bought costumes were available with options for people who preferred convenience over homemade creations. Trick-or-treating became more organized and widely accepted. Communities and local governments started to encourage safe Halloween activities, such as door-to-door candy collection, to deter mischief and pranks that were common in earlier years. Now we have entered the 1940s. World War II had a significant impact on Halloween celebrations in the 1940s. Many traditional Halloween decorations, such as orange and black paper, were in short supply due to wartime rationing, which led to creative alternatives like corn stalks or leaves. Children went door to door in their neighborhoods, but there was an increased emphasis on collecting items for the war effort. Some children carried containers to collect donations for charities, war relief, or even specific war materials like rubber or paper. Fast forwarding to the 1950s. The 1950s saw the post-World War II baby boom, resulting in an increase in the number of young children in American households. Halloween became even more family-oriented during this decade, with a greater emphasis on children's participation in the festivities. The 1950s introduced an array of Halloween-themed candies and treats, many of which are still popular today. Classic treats like candy corn, popcorn balls, and caramel apples became staples of the holiday. Welcome to the 1960s. The 1960s marked a further increase in the commercialization of Halloween. Retailers offered an expanding range of Halloween-related products, from costumes and decorations to party supplies and themed merchandise. Television characters like the Addams Family and the Munsters became popular choices, alongside traditional spooky costumes. Homemade costumes remained common, but store-bought costumes continued to gain popularity, offering more variety and convenience. The psychedelic 70s. The 1970s was marked by the influence of disco music, television shows, and movies on Halloween costumes. Characters from iconic films like Star Wars and The Exorcist became popular choices. Superheroes, such as Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk, were a hit. The 1970s continued to see a fascination with horror films. Characters from movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Omen, and Carrie became popular costume choices. These costumes were often simple yet chilling, relying on makeup and props for authenticity. Let's time jump into the 1980s. The 1980s featured tons of animated TV shows, which led to a surge in costumes inspired by popular cartoon characters. Kids often dressed as characters from shows like Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Scooby-Doo. This was the time Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and Jason Voorhees became incredibly popular. The 1980s also marked the rise of video game culture. As a result, characters from popular video games like Mario from Super Mario Bros. And Pac-Man became common costume choices. These costumes often involved simple, boxy designs that reflected the pixelated graphics of the era. Up next on our time travel adventures is the 1990s. Group costumes became more popular during this decade. Friends and families often coordinated their costumes to create themed groups, such as the cast of Friends, the Spice Girls, or Disney princesses, with The Little Mermaid being all the rage. Safety concerns surged as there were rumors of poisoned candy. Extra precautions were taken encouraging parents to inspect candy. Reflective tape and glow-in-the-dark accessories remained popular for added visibility at night.
You gotta go smash that little one. It's all on it. Can you see me?
Yes.
Where do we buy these? Do you remember?
Is that the Montgomery Farms pumpkin?
Yeah. Yours maybe rotted too.
Nah, those were outside. We need to start thinking out what you need. That's my hat. The flannel. We text you what today? The bouquet.
Now we're gonna apply blood to the hockey mask.
Go for it, Chinwood. What kind of blood is it?
Vampire blood.
Joel. Preparating his hockey mask. For All Hallows Eve.
You look bad?
That's some shit. Buster.
You had like pizza on your back.
From the store, because I went to what? Uh-huh. Let's see what you got there.
Look at that.
Tell your version of the Stephanie story now.
You walked up to the door, and I was standing right behind the door. She opened up the door. It was like one of them old movies where the door creaks.
Yeah.
Nick was standing right there in the middle with his knife in one hand, and the camera right behind the back.
Yeah.
I looked at him. I looked at her. She smiled at me, and she looked, and he snapped the pictures.
What did I say when I pulled off my mask?
Happy Halloween.
Our last stop is here in the 2000s. Classic horror icons like vampires, zombies, werewolves, and mummies were joined by newer figures from contemporary horror films like Saw and Paranormal Activity. Additionally, the Twilight series sparked an interest in dressing as vampires and werewolves. The growth of e-commerce made it easier for people to shop for Halloween costumes online. Safety measures continued to be a concern during the 2000s, with many communities offering alternatives to traditional trick-or-treating, such as trunk-or-treat events in parking lots. Man, all this time traveling got me sick. I think it's time we come back. After all, it's almost October 31st, 2023.
Back so soon?
What do you mean by soon? We just time traveled 100 years.
I was just hoping to have more time to decorate Somber Studios for Halloween.
You had 100 years to do it. Now pass me the candy bowl, and no one gets their soul eaten tonight.
Man, you demons sure get cranky without your sugar fix.
Can I have one?
Whose terror toddler is this?